All right, in this video, we're going to talk about aliveness over analysis. And what I mean by that is using what gives you a sense of aliveness as the gauge for what direction to move in your business instead of just analysis, which can be a tricky one. To be clear, I love data and I love analysis, but the data is not usually going to answer the question of what makes you feel happiest and most fulfilled. I mean, if you collect data on that, that's pretty fucking awesome. I want to know about it. But when you're looking at like what's brought in the most money, what's brought in the most people, like what should I do? Where is the biggest potential? That's when you can get stuck in analysis paralysis, I would say. And it's also what will let you start down journeys that are not actually going to lead to you feeling happier, fulfilled, and more alive and lit up and excited to show up in your business day after day, month after month, year after year. So if you're here, I'm going to assume that you already have a fucking rocking business it's been generating revenue for you for probably a good while. And you're facing some decisions that need to be made because chances are, if you're like me, like I was, and like a lot of people I know, like you'll realize that the money alone is not enough. And even having a business that you love is not always enough. You need to have the rest of your life. I mean, having a business that you love is never really enough, but having the rest of your life in balance also and feeling good, like you need it all. And so sometimes it really doesn't, in some ways it doesn't depend. It doesn't matter if you're like, shit, Wendy, my business is going hog wild. I love it, but I just don't have time to spend with my family. Or if like your business took a dip and you're like, fuck, what am I going to do next? Like, it doesn't matter where your business is right now. To me, the question, the way that's going to lead you in the direction of what I believe is your soul's purpose on this planet is what makes you feel more alive, excited, lit up, like turned on. What is that? So, in this video, I'm going to go through 7 common business decisions and I'm going to talk to you through them from the lens of choosing what feels good and right to you instead of what you think you should do. Because I get this so much, like, well, I know I should be doing this and I've got 5 things to work on. I have this, and this. I don't know which one I should do. Which one do you fucking want to do? What feels most exciting to you? Like, it's okay. Not only is it okay to let that be your guide, but that's like the thread that you can follow towards the life of your dreams, like the richness in all aspects of your life, the financial ease, the relationship closeness and intimacy, the fun, the freedom, the power to support other people and create change in the world. It's all at the other end of that string that right now feels like relief, feels like aliveness. It feels like ease inside you. That's what I believe. That's what I'm here to help people do. If that's not your thing, why are you still watching? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm referring to my notes. There are 1,000 different paths to hike the mountain range that is building your business, right? And I believe that I already said this multiple times, but it's in my notes. I'm just repeating it again. The best way is the one that you feel most excited and inspired by. So that's what we're going to be looking for. I also want to point out that with all of these questions and probably whatever decision you're facing in your business right now, the question is, I mean, I don't know if it's always, is it always this? It feels like it's fucking always about, are you going to maintain the status quo or are you going to make an evolution and a change, right? If the fucking status quo was working, you wouldn't be asking yourself if you need to make a change. I think so. I mean, if you have a scenario where that doesn't apply, let me know because I can't think of it right now. But unless you have like fear of success and you're afraid that it is going to work. Like, if the status quo was working, you wouldn't be asking yourself if what needs to change. So the answer is yeah, you probably fucking do need to change and evolve, whether it's in yourself or in your business systems. And so the question is, how are you going to do that, right? Okay. So also, there's this false binary that comes up between, am I going to maintain the status quo or am I going to evolve and like, fuck, I got to figure it out right now. Like, it's a false binary. You can maintain the status quo while you evolve in a new direction, and you can like change those ratios, and you can use so much of the resources, business, energy, the email lists, everything that you've already built till now. There's a way to pivot that to help take you in the direction that you want to go. Promise. That's what I'm really fucking good at. So if you don't believe it, come give me your nut and let me crack it. I hope that didn't sound weird. I hope. Were you thinking what I was thinking? Not that nut. Not those nuts. Okay. Let's see. So here's the first decision example. Let's say you've been offering a program for 3 or 5 or 10 or 15 years and you're wondering, should I change it up now? Like, maybe it's just not doing it for you the way that it was. Like, you're making money, but it's just not fun anymore. Or maybe it's not going as well as it was. And you're like, maybe should I like invest more energy in this, or should I try something different? So the questions I want you to ask yourself in this situation, and I'm not going to go super deep into these because I got 7 questions and each question has multiple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 questions to ask yourself. But they're not all that different. And just by going through this, the next time you face a decision, one of these fucking questions is going to pop into your head and you're going to be like, oh yeah. If you're really close in my circles, you'll probably start calling it Jiminy Wendy. And you'll be like, Jiminy Wendy is asking me, how do you feel when you think about offering that for the coming year? Because that's the first question, right? When you imagine yourself offering this thing for the next year, how do you feel about it? Is it like, oh yeah, I love it? Probably not, or you probably wouldn't be asking this question. But if it fucking is, then why are you asking this question? But if it's not, if it's like, oh, it's kind of boring and it's like, pay attention to the fucking feelings. And if it feels boring, then find the aliveness. That's what I'm good at helping people do. Go from the thing that feels to finding the thing that feels fun and easy and in the direction of what they want. So how do you feel when you think about offering it again in the coming year? What sensations do you feel in your body? What thoughts pop into your head? And then I want you to think about, what's the worst part of offering it again this year? You can fucking put me on pause if you need to actually like think about these things. That's what I would do. What's the best part of offering it again this year? Is there something else that you feel more interested in or more excited about offering than this? And if so, what is it? And why is that more exciting to you than this? If we were working one-on-one, I'd give you time to answer all those fucking questions. But for right now, you pause me and you think when you want to think. Okay. And lastly, does it feel right to you to totally drop out of what you're doing and offer something new? Or is there something in between that feels right to you to do as a first next step? And is it a way to like integrate the new thing that you're excited about with what you're already doing? So if you've been offering a program for a number of years and you're wondering if you should change it up now, those are the questions to be journaling about, asking yourself, talking over with a close friend, thinking about in the shower. I'm not sure what else you want to do with those questions, but I hope they're helpful. Decision number 2. Working with so-and-so client is an energetic drain for me, but they're also one of my biggest clients. Should I keep them or should I fire them? So, doesn't matter if this person's a fucking celebrity. It doesn't matter if they made 80% of your business last year. These are the questions I want you to ask yourself. How do you feel when you imagine waking up in the morning knowing that you don't have to work with them ever again? if you're in this situation and you're dealing with a client that's an energetic drain and you imagine that feeling, I will take bets. I'll bet you $10. I'll bet you $100 that you just felt a lightness in your body. I felt the lightness in my body and I'm just fucking imagining it for you. I don't have clients that I don't like. So when that sense of like relief that you feel imagining not working with them, that's a sense of aliveness. That's the thread that we need to follow in the direction of your soul aligned business that is helping you fulfill your divinely guided mission on this planet, from my perspective. So, how do you feel in the morning? What sensations do you feel in your body right now when you just imagine that? What thoughts pop into your head again? What's the worst part of continuing to work with them? Okay, now this is a big one, and I've got lots of other videos that are in the works or out available for you to watch on boundaries. But what boundaries have you been avoiding setting and enforcing that would make working with them feel better to you? Big one. Because again, this is the third way. There's easy to be in the binary, do I stay stuck in this shitty thing or do I leave it? And there's almost always a third fucking way. It just requires doing something that you've maybe been scared to do. Not that I've ever been in that situation. No, all of us feel scared to do at different times about different situations. Let's see, what else? Okay, another question I would ask you is, how confident are you that you could get one or more clients to substitute the income that you receive from them if you decided not to keep working with them? So this is a tricky one because you're like, well, Wendy, if they weren't my client, I would have more clients like them if I could get them, but that's not necessarily true, because if you're spending 80% of your time on this client, then you don't have time to put into other clients that could be better for that, opportunity cost. But so the question is, like, if you weren't dealing with this bullshit, how hard would it really be? How much effort would it really take to get someone who's a better fit compared to the fucking drain? And even if it's not that hard, like, the biggest fucking trap for these is that the client and the money is easy, but it's draining. Or the work for the client is easy and it's just that the client's kind of a pain in the ass. So let's see. Yeah, so how confident are you could get one or more clients to substitute the income you receive from them? What would be the first step that you would need to do to take in that direction? So, like, let's say that this client quit tomorrow and you need to start looking. What would you do? Probably put out some feelers to some other prospects or that you know of or could imagine, or ask for referrals. But the question is not what's the first step you need to do in that direction, because fucking everybody knows you got to look for referrals, right? Or you got to get new leads or follow up with prospects. The question is, how come you haven't taken that step already? Because for some reason you have chosen to keep dealing with this client instead of going out and finding a new one. And I'm not saying this from like a judgmental place, because we're all fucking doing this in one aspect of our life. There is a legitimately good reason that you, and it makes me teary for some reason, but there's a legitimately good reason that you are staying in this mediocre situation instead of coming over here and finding a better client. And the idea that that's impossible, I don't believe that. I don't think you believe it. It's hard, maybe, but is it harder than this? My guess is it's not a fucking logistical issue. It's an emotional issue. And there's some hidden feeling or fear over here that is keeping you from taking that step in this direction. So how come you haven't already taken steps in those directions? That's a really important question to ask yourself. Let's see. Okay, I also want you to ask yourself, who is your favorite client to work with? And what do you enjoy about working with them, right? This is kind of standard. How concerned are you with how this current client feels about working with you or not? Like, do you care that they want to work with you, or do you not really care about that? Because that's a factor that's going to influence if and when you start looking for something better, right? Because sometimes it's fucking guilt that keeps us in these dynamics. Let's see, what else? Is there someone else that you would trust or feel good referring them to? Why or why not? So going into there, like, if there is a good fucking person that you could refer them to and you haven't already, why not? Probably because you're afraid of the money? Losing the money? Maybe. Also, what is going to get freed up in your time and energy? And what other ways are you going to discover to bring in that money when you're not fucking dealing with this? So, is there a person to refer them to? If there's not, then that's another reason probably in your head that you're like, well, I can't give them up because they need me or whatever. So just to examine these questions of like, why have you been sticking with this? And then as you get through that, that will help you get more nuanced clarity on how to proceed. So when you think of how you're showing up in relation to this client, does it feel in alignment with who you want to be? And why or why not? That's another one that I'm big on, right? So sometimes we, very good-hearted people, can be attached to a particular client because we're telling ourselves that we need them, or that, like, whatever it is. There's so many reasons for it. But like, whether it's about you're afraid you can't get another one, whatever it is, like, is that fear? Is there stinginess? Is there anxiety? Is there jealousy? Is there possessiveness? Is there guilt? Whatever that is that in alignment with how you want to be showing up and serving people in the world? If you're watching this video, I know that it's not. So it's another aspect to be considering. And maybe you are showing up the way you want to with this client. Maybe you're like, yeah, I am doing everything that I feel great about how I'm dealing with this client, and they're just a pain in the fucking ass. That's fine too. I love taking a big fucking ball of question. Do I keep this client or do I fire them? And being like, here's all the different threads that you need to untangle if you want to get to that answer. And the last one I have for this one is, what step could you take today without firing them to be more in alignment with who and how you want to be? If that doesn't give you enough to think over, good luck to you. How could that not? Okay, decision number 3. I love this shit. Did you notice? I raised my rates last year, but I'm still feeling resentful of the time I'm investing in the clients I've grandfathered in at my old rates. Should I raise my rates for them or not? Again, this seems like an obvious question to me. I would say yes. Resentment is always a sign of a boundary that needs to be placed or a feeling that needs to be expressed. So then the next question is, what's the fear or worry that you've been experiencing that has kept you from raising the rates already? These are the big questions that not enough people are talking about. It's not just about what should you do in your business. It's about, how do you feel about the options that you have in your business? And how do you feel about the way that your business is and the choices that you're making? Let's see. My font is a little smaller than I would like here. What stories are you telling yourself about what is and isn't possible for you that may not be true or serving you in this situation? I don't care if you're like considering raising your rates from $30,000 to $50,000 or from $1,000 to $3,000 for whatever the thing is. We all have stories at all levels of income, you know this, everywhere. So how can we recognize those stories? And what stories are you telling yourself about this person in this situation that probably aren't true, or that might not be true and that might not be serving you? Which client do you feel most afraid to raise the rates on, and why? And how would it feel to raise the rates on everybody else except that one that's grandfathered in? Okay, here we are back to, it's not a fucking binary. You don't have to raise the rates on everybody or keep it all the same. You can raise the rates on some of them. Let's see. How would you feel about saying, as you may know, I raised my rates for new clients in such and such season of such and such year. I've grandfathered you into my old rates, but I notice that they just aren't in alignment for me anymore, and it doesn't feel like a good and equal exchange. In order to honor our relationship, I'm only going to raise your rate by however much for the next however long period of time. But after that, I'm going to ask for blah, blah, blah rate. Does that seem reasonable to you? I mean, you probably know this. It's standard raise your rates, how to raise your rates, grandfathering people in. That's why you did it the first time. It's okay to do it again. And it's okay for the only fucking reason that you're doing it is to stop feeling so resentful. Why? Because when you make a choice that relieves that resentment, you're moving in the direction of more aliveness. You're moving in the direction of more alignment. And I've already said the rest a gazillion times. That's what's leading you in the direction of your soul-aligned business model and fulfilling your divinely guided mission on this planet. Okay, what other loyalties or attachments to these people are influencing your desire not to ask for more money? Just gonna keep on going. Are the stories you're telling about these people empowering or disempowering to you and them? Not saying I know, I'm asking you. When you think of how you're showing up in relationship to this client, again, does it feel in alignment with who you want to be and how you want to show up? Why or why not? And lastly, is there value that you have received in other areas or from other people that might help balance out the exchange of energy and help you feel better about making a conscious decision to keep supporting them at their current rates? So I really am not here to tell you what you should do. I'm not here to tell you, well, if you think you should raise your rates, you should always raise your rates. I'm saying if you feel like you should make a change, then make a change. But it doesn't always have to be about the thing that you think it is. It doesn't have to be about the rates. It might be an internal change that if you just realize, like, wait a second, actually, when I reconnect to the ways that this relationship has been serving me, and the reasons and the fears that I have, and when I untangle those stories, I actually don't want to raise the rates. I actually can be in alignment with the rates that I've been having. I just needed to make that internal shift. Decision numero cuatro. I have plenty of clients who are at X level, but I really want to work with people at Y level. How should I go about doing that? And maybe the level is their income or their net worth, or maybe it's their skill level, or that makes me think about pickleball, my dear loved past business, first and best business, first successful business, and or like a business size. Maybe you've been working with big businesses and you want to work with small businesses or vice versa. So my question is, where or how did you acquire your current clients? And could you find your new clients in the same way, or would it require a new strategy? So this is a super important question to be asking yourself, right? Like, let's say that since we were talking skill level, I got pickleball in my brain, right? But let's say you got a bunch of your clients through pickleball and you want to shift your demographic, or you want to shift like the income of the people that you're working with, and you want to work with higher income earners. You can still find them through pickleball. Like, it's not that you need a whole new approach. And this is a really important distinction to make. Do you need an approach? Maybe you do need an approach. Maybe you got them through something that is like the people you want to work with are not there at all. So you just got to figure out, could you find your new clients in the same way, or would it require a new strategy? Also, I want you to ask yourself, how would you like to be able to find new clients? Would you like to be I like to create videos. This is how I would like to find new clients. I also wouldn't mind finding them when I was playing pickleball or going dancing. I find them when I fucking pick up Facebook Marketplace purchases. So how would you like to find new clients? Because you don't have to do the things that you did to get these clients if you don't enjoy them anymore and if you don't want to do it. Like I said, there's 1,000 different paths through this territory, and you don't have to take the one that worked for you before if it doesn't feel in alignment again still today. Okay, so this is fun. I want to ask you, Well, there's I love these next few questions. Number 1, what's the scariest part about working with new clients like this? Super important question to ask yourself. How would you have to show up differently to work with these people? And when you think of showing up that way, what thoughts pop into your head? What sensations do you feel in your body? And why? Again, pause if you've got to feel into this and spend more time on it. Because also, what past experiences have you had that make you doubt your capacity to step into this new domain, just like you got into your last one? You made it happen before. What is making you doubt your capacity to do it again? And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't have any doubts about your capacity. I'm saying there's a legitimate fucking reason that you're doubting. What is it? Is it that you're afraid that you're too old? Is it afraid that you're afraid that you don't want to put the work in? Or you sacrificed your relationship last time to build it and you don't want to do that again? What is making you doubt your capacity? All right. Also, what is something unrelated to finding clients that you've been wanting to do or try lately that you've been putting off? This is the one I fucking love, right? Because this is how, like, if you answer that question, I don't, like, maybe it's I'm stuck on the pickleball one for this question. Maybe you've always wanted to try pickleball, right? Give yourself, that you have a sense of aliveness taking you in the direction of pickleball. So fucking follow it. Even if you don't know how that connects to the rest of what you want, following that aliveness is going to take you in the direction of your soul-aligned business, helping you fulfill your divinely guided mission on this planet. Can I drill that into your head anymore this video? Probably. We'll see. Okay, so let's see. Also, what's something that you would have to do or create in order to get these new clients that you've been avoiding doing or creating? Love this question. There's so much juice there, right? Like, what's it going to take to do that? And what have you been avoiding? Also, why have you been avoiding it? You knew I was going to ask it. What parts of your identity would it call into question for you to do or create that thing? Good question. So it's like, there's just so many directions this can go. I don't even want to pick one and box it in, but I just want you to think about what parts of your identity get seen and known and recognized working with your current clients. What parts of your identity get hidden and denied and lost working with your current clients? And what are you scared of? What does that call into if you think of stepping into that? So much good shit to think about. Okay, decision number 5. I have a large audience, but I got them because I was talking about X. And now I want to focus on Y. Should I start a new list completely? Well, my answer is no. If you have an asset, you might as well use it. But the question here is not if you should use the fucking list. What is it? The question is, what are you afraid of happening with these people if you were to begin talking about why? I don't give a fuck what it is. Maybe you have a list of, this is generic and I probably don't have anyone who's watching this video who is selling insurance, but maybe I do. Let's say you've got a list of people selling insurance and you're like, well, Wendy, I really want to be doing this energetic healing technique that I found. And you're scared of talking to the insurance people about this. Why? Part of you is going to be like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you stupid? Do you live in La La Land? You think I should do that? But I'm really serious. What are you so afraid of? If you can't bring this part of yourself to these people, then you have work to do on that. Have fun, or call me and let me help you. I don't mean to be snarky. I'm not kidding. I'm saying that compassionately, in case you couldn't tell. There is work to do there if you feel that afraid of bringing this new part of yourself there. And I am speaking from experience, right? Like ex-husband, ex-business, pickleball list, conservative, older clients, somewhat afraid of bringing my queer, younger, swearier self to them. Got a lot of hate mail. I don't fucking care. Like, it's okay. Because in that, I also call in the people on that list who really fucking love me and connect with me. So I get it. And that's not just that fear of showing up authentically is not just showing up when it comes to your mailing list. It's showing up everywhere when you think about stepping in this direction. Okay, so also, how much do you like the people in your current audience? This is an important question. Do you like them and like you want to stick around with them? Or are you like, didn't really like them to begin with. Fine, getting rid of them. Shouldn't, because it's 10, 20, 100,000 people, but I don't really care about them that much. Maybe, I'm not saying that has to be the only determining factor, but you gotta fucking incorporate that as a variable into your decision. How do you feel about the people in your current audience? How well do you feel like they know you? What's something that's happened to you that has made you feel so much more interested in this new thing? What impact did it have on you? This is an important one because then you can also share that, right? So what concerns do you have about telling your current audience about that experience? I can think of some racy examples here, but it doesn't matter what it is. Like, what are those fears and concerns? Like, I was thinking about people's, like, I'm into kink. I like me some kink. I can bring that to my audience and I feel fine with it. Where are you not feeling comfortable bringing those things into your audience and why? What valid reasons are there? What valid fears are there? You get the picture by now, do you? Okay, what concerns? What parts of yourself have you been hiding with your current audience and why? Such a good question to dive into. What feedback or signals have you received that made you think that you should continue to hide that? Again, big ball of wax. Should I go here or should I go there? And I'm like, let's tease it apart. You're afraid? Let's tease that apart. Why are you afraid? What happened? What did they say? What did they do? That shit matters. It's so tricky when people are like, you can't trust emotions. Emotions are illogical. That's like saying the weather is illogical. It's unpredictable, maybe. You can predict it to a certain extent. You kind of know what to expect, global warming, but you have a sense of what to expect based on where you are in the world. Just because the weather changes doesn't mean it's illogical. It means you don't understand why it's changing. And to me, that's the same with your feelings. That's the reason that I can trust the feelings that I have, is because I'm not just going based off, is it a yes or is it a no? I'm going based off of, is there a sense of aliveness? Why not? How can I get to that sense of aliveness? And then when I'm moving forward, having recognized those things and finding that sense of aliveness, I don't have any worries about how it's going to turn out. This is so fun talking. God, hydrate. Okay, so like I said, what feedback or signals have made you think that you should continue to hide that? But I also want you to ask yourself, what feedback or signals have you received that would make you think that at least a few of the people in your current audience would actually enjoy hearing about your new focus? Maybe you haven't heard any, but maybe there's been that one person. Oh shit, I forgot I have my headphones on. Maybe, I like it better with them on. It's noise canceling. Maybe you feel better about, maybe there's been one person that said, hey, I love what you're up to, right? Even if it's just one, it lets you know there's the potential for other ones. All right, let's see. Next question. What's something that you have already created or would enjoy creating quickly and easily that you could offer as like a lead magnet to segment the people in your current list who might be interested in your new offering? Easy, super easy fucking way to transition to something new and not have to tell everybody over here all about it for a long time, but to get the ones that care about it and bring them over here with you. What fears, worries, or hesitations come up when you imagine creating and offering that, right? Again, business advice, create a lead magnet, create segments. I am here for that and I love coming up with that stuff, but it's not nearly as powerful if you haven't addressed the feelings behind it all. So what fears, worries, or hesitations come up when you imagine creating and offering that? And maybe it's not a lead magnet, maybe whatever it is for your industry or business. Something to bridge that gap. Okay, another question. How important is it to you to transition from what you're doing now to what you're going to do in the future? Is it like yeah, that'd be nice, but I'm not so attached to it? Or is it like if I keep doing this, I can see that in 5 years, I'm not going to be in good shape and I need to change something. Like, that's pretty serious. So where are you on that spectrum? That fucking matters when you're making these decisions. And so taking that into account, what time frame would you ideally like to have that happen? Like, for some people, it's going to be like as soon as fucking humanly possible. I can't stand this another day. Other people, it's going to be like, well, 12 to 18 months. Like, okay. So you have time to work on that. And then, this is one of my favorite questions. What's the first step you could take right now that feels reasonably doable in the direction of finding more people that are interested in X, what you already got, that are also interested in Y, the thing you want to move in the direction of, right? So let's say, whatever I said, you've got insurance and you want to move in the direction of woo-woo natural healing, which I love. No judgment there. How can you find more insurance people who also like that? And then you start to build that audience, which gives you more space and room to transition over here. See how it works? Love this shit. Okay, 2 more. Decision number 6. Ever since X whatever happened in my family or personal life, I'm just having a hard time doing such and such activity. Should I just suck it up and keep doing it? Or should I make a change? But I don't even know what I would change it to, right? So this could be a health issue. It could be a loss of someone you love. It could be kids moving out of the house and having an empty nest. It could be separation or divorce. There's like so many things that can happen that can influence what feels easy and hard to do. So let's just take the simple example of a health issue, right? So ever since I got Epstein-Barr, a personal example from 2016, I'm having a hard time focusing. Like, should I just suck it up and keep trying to do this thing anyway? Or should I make a change? Here's the question to ask yourself. First of all, how important is it to you, this thing that you're doing, right? If it's not that important, it's much easier to drop than if it's something that feels really critical and important to you. You got to know that. Untangling the yarn. How important is it to you? What are you afraid of happening if you let it go? Are you telling a disempowering story about someone that's making you feel like you can't give it up? I'm going to repeat this one because this is a big one and I'm going to take bets that there's something there. Are you telling a disempowering story about someone which is making you feel like you can't give it up? Maybe this is your boss. Maybe this is your partner. Maybe this is your kids, your spouse, your coworkers. There's so many ways that this could be showing up. But if you're telling yourself that they can't do it, they can't make it without you, they need you, what is the disempowering story? And who is this person? Why are you telling this story? And what if this is actually a very important learning opportunity for them? Because I promise you, it is. And if you are following the direction of your aliveness, which is leading you in a different direction because you cannot continue doing the thing that you did, it's okay that it's going to be hard for them. And it's up to them to figure out how to deal with that. And by you not following your aliveness, by compromising on what you really want and what feels best to you, you are not doing them a favor. You're disempowering them. And in my world, I'll slap a label of you're operating from a codependent place on that real fast. I like to slap those labels on. So it is an important learning opportunity for them. But again, how are you feeling deep down right now, just in general, that's keeping you from being able to do this? And what is it that would feel most nourishing to you right now? how can you add some of that into your next 72 hours? Now, again, maybe you're going to add more of this into your life every month or all the time in the future. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about practical next steps right now. If you're having a hard time doing something and you're feeling there's something that you could do that would feel nourishing to you, go do that thing. And chances are, even if it has nothing to do with this, it's going to make that feel easier. And if it doesn't, you'll at least have had a fucking break from that by doing this thing that feels good to you. This is known as the when in doubt, play pickleball strategy that my husband and I developed years and years ago when we were broke traveling around the country playing in pickleball tournaments. Wait, this was like fucking 2009? Like nobody knew about pickleball back then. And we would not know how we were going to pay the bills. And I would have done the work, sent out leads, done contact, reached out to people, made contacts, followed up on leads, whatever. And then I'm like, well, nothing else we can do. Guess we should go play pickleball. When in doubt, play pickleball. And then we go play pickleball. When I come back, maybe the situation's changed and I feel better because I've gotten exercise and I've gotten connection and I've had fun. Maybe the situation isn't better, but because I feel so much better, now I can address it differently, right? So you don't have, if you're having a hard time with it, so much of the thing, so many people's challenges are because they think the problem is here, but that's not really the problem. And so whatever it is that feels nourishing to you right now, it's a path to help you solve that problem, I promise. So how can you add some of that into your next 72 hours, let's say? And also, if you could do anything besides this thing that you are having a hard time doing that could get the same end result, what would you do? So let's say that, I hope you're not making cold calls in your business, but let's just say the example was that you were making cold calls, but now you're really struggling with it, right? Well, there's other ways to get new leads, right? So I want you to ask yourself, if you could do anything besides this thing that you're having a hard time with to get the same result, what would you do? Okay, another question, kind of similar but totally different. If you could do anything other than that, regardless of whether or not it achieved the same result, what would you want to do? Right? So this is like totally different ballgame. The first question, I'm like, what else could you do to get leads besides this way that you've been doing that you're struggling with? Now the other question is, if you didn't even fucking worry about getting leads, how would you want to spend your time? Oh, you want to go play pickleball? Go fucking play pickleball. Or whatever your equivalent is. Let's see. So how can you do more of that? This thing that you want to do, how can you do more of that this week? Okay, here's my last one, but it's still a big one. Well, it's the last one for number 6. What feelings would you have to feel if you stopped doing this thing that you're avoiding feeling right now? This makes me want to cry. This question came to me when I was deep in a highly dysfunctional relationship. And it was our relationship coach, I think, that told me about this. And no, maybe it was a friend of mine. I don't know. Somehow, the question was, what feelings are you avoiding feeling by staying in this relationship? And it was avoiding the grief of having to admit that it wasn't working and that we were going to be breaking up and that we weren't going to be living together. Like, there's so many feelings tied up in that. And it's so easy to just avoid looking at those feelings and just keep trying to do this thing that you're having a hard time doing. But there's a reason you're having a hard time doing it. And there's feelings about that. So what feelings would you have to feel if you stopped doing this thing that you're avoiding feeling by continuing to do it even though it's hard? Okay, last one. Number 7. I just picked a super basic example, but I think you can apply this to whatever your situation is. So let's say it's, I want to create a new lead magnet for my new offering, but I don't know what it should be, right? And this might be like lead magnet. It might be, I want to create a new something for our app. Like there's so many things this could be. But when you want to create something new, but you don't know what it should be. So my questions to you are, what lead magnets, or whatever equivalent, have you created in the past, if any? And how do you feel about them? Do you have something that you've already created that could be applicable here? If so, what are your concerns about using that? Again, typical business advice, create the lead magnet. Consulting advice, help you figure out what lead magnet to create. My advice, feeling between the lines, why aren't you? How are you feeling about this? What are you afraid of? What are your concerns about using this thing that you've already created? Is there a way that you could change like the title and tweak the content to make it a better fit for your new offering? Or like whatever the thing is that you could tweak it to make it a better fit? If not, what's something that would be fun and easy for you to create that would also be helpful to the people who would be interested in working with you? Super important crossover. Not just what would be helpful, but what would be fun and easy for you. That's the direction of your aliveness. Even if you talk a long ass video, like, okay, we're almost done. If not, what's something that would be fun and easy for you to create that would also be helpful to the people? Would you be able to get it done more quickly and easily if you wrote it or did an audio recording or did a video recording or something else? My friend might be coming through my door in a little bit. But I only have a few more questions. Would you be able to get it done more quickly and easily if you wrote it or if you did an audio recording or if you did a video recording or something else? This is where it's not what should you do. The question is what feels fun and easy for you to do. Don't fucking force yourself to write an ebook. If you hate writing and you get writer's block, but it's so easy for you to talk, then do a fucking audio. I feel like this is so basic, but it's not. Like people are sitting and forcing themselves to do shit that they hate and aren't good at all the time. Why? Let me help you find a solution that does the thing you're trying to accomplish and also feels good to you. Okay, I'm getting a little hungry and a little tired, and so my slight frustration it's not really frustration, but I'm just like, let me help you, don't struggle. And don't compromise on your aliveness. Okay, I'm having a hard time tracking the lines in here. How could AI make this easier for you? How do you feel about using it? Another question, what's something that you or your clients find frustrating, which your new offering addresses? It's another way to get at this. How do you feel about your lead magnet addressing those frustrations and the best solutions you've found or developed? It's okay if you don't have the solution. Whatever you figured out so far could be helpful, right? So, yeah, what's something that they feel frustrated about? And then how can you support them in that frustration, even if you can't make it go away? Also, who are the people that you would really love to work with? And how could you add a word or a subtitle that would speak specifically to them? These are great questions, aren't they? I think they're great. Okay, where are you telling yourself that you should do something different than you want to do about this? Like you're telling yourself you should do what that you actually don't want to do. And if you gave yourself permission to do what you really want to do, what would it be? What is it that you really actually want to do about this lead magnet? And you're like, well, Wendy, if I really just gave myself permission, I wouldn't even fucking make a lead magnet anyway. I'd just go do blah, blah, blah. Then fucking do that. Do you feel the excitement and the aliveness in you when you give yourself permission to stop doing the shit that you didn't actually like to begin with and to go in the direction of your heart and soul's calling? It's so much fucking easier. This is as true in business. It's also true outside of business, but we're staying focused on business here. Okay. If you gave yourself permission to do what you really want to do, what would it be? What's stopping you from doing that? Right? So you're like, oh, Wendy, what I'd really want to do is blah, blah, blah. Now my next question is, yeah, so what's stopping you from doing that? And is that a realistic concern or not? It might not actually be a realistic concern. It might just be your past trauma that's making you afraid of that. Or it might be a really fucking legitimate concern. I don't know. But either if it's not a realistic concern, then how can you take a step in that direction right now? And if it is a valid concern, what can you do to take a step in the direction of avoiding that outcome that you're worried about? Well, if that doesn't show you that I got some questions to ask you, I don't know what could, because I have a lot of fucking questions to ask you. And this is not even the half of it. Do you know how long it took me to come up with this? Like fucking half hour maybe. Just comes out of me. So it's even more fun though when I'm doing it like with someone live, one-on-one, and I can ask you and you can tell me and I can hear your answer instead of just making up hypothetical answers. So if you want my heart and brain and eyes and mind on your business, I might like to work with you. I'm not sure. We have to meet and find out. But if you're this far in this fucking video, I'm going to bet good money that I would love to work with you. So there's 2 ways to work with me. I have my Get Sold Life community membership. There's 2 levels. There's the level for people who can't pay much money. And then there's a level for people who want more access to me. And then there's one-on-one intensive retreats with me. So that's where we get this is kind of the membership, the Get Sold Life membership is sort of more of a everyday, day-to-day, week-to-week inspiration to be more authentic and follow your aliveness. Whereas the retreats are really an opportunity for us to dive deep and look at every aspect of your life. Like ask these questions about your business and also ask questions like that about the rest of your life too. And the ways that you're telling yourself disempowering stories about yourself and other people. Untangle all that shit, whatever is there and is alive for you. So that is my De-Stress Your Biz retreat. If we haven't met before, that's really your only way to get me deep diving with you is on a De-Stress Your Business retreat. If I like you enough and if it feels like we work well together, then I could also invite you to come into my Evolution Solution program, which is where I work with you on a quarterly basis. We get a retreat every fucking quarter, kind of every 6 months it's in person. And then on the alternates, we'll do a virtual retreat where we dive into this. And so I can just help you keep turning in the direction of your aliveness through all of the business decisions that come up, through the new opportunities that you have, through the new challenges that you're facing, and all of the fucking decisions that you're having to make in all aspects of your life. It can be so much, and it can be hard to untangle all of the balls of all of those feelings. And it really can fast track it when you have someone that you like who can tune into your feelings and ask you the questions and can look at the big picture with you. So many of the people I work with feel alone in the big picture. Maybe they love their clients. Maybe they love their partner. They love their peers. But nobody quite gets the whole of what they're about. Nobody else is helping them look at all of the different aspects that they're juggling and having to prioritize and make decisions between. And that's why I just fucking love being that person for people. And and I'm not like, I don't take on a lot of people in the Evolution Solution. It's really a focused group of people that I feel deeply committed and invested in, and who are interested in deeply committing and investing with me. Not just financially, but it's like the program, like in my ideal, I'd like to think of it as it's an intention for 3 years with no obligation, and also renewable for the rest of our fucking lives if it's a good match. So if you like this, if you found it helpful, you can check out Get Sold Life membership program, or you can reach out and contact me, Wendy at wendygarrido.com, or find me on WhatsApp at Wendy Garrido and talk to me about doing a retreat with me. I would love it. Okay. I'm tired and thirsty and hungry and I gotta pee and I'm gonna go, so I'm gonna go. But it was great connecting and can't wait for more. Okay, bye.